When you learn meditation, be it chakra meditation or any type of meditation, you may often read the three words, do not strain. And I thought I'd make a short video addressing these three simple words, do not strain. Although there are only three words, do not strain, so much essential, mission-critical information is packed into these three words. For me, the three words, do not strain, have been a multi-year process of understanding. Do not strain. On the surface, it may seem that the meaning of these words is obvious. And indeed, there's one level of meaning which is quite obvious. When you're instructed not to strain during any of the exercises, during the pranayamas, when you start out, the meaning might be intuitive. For example, you might be sitting in your favorite meditation position and trying to learn the pranayama or learn the exercise, and then you might find that your back hurts. Or you may find that in the process of your sincere and hard efforts to learn the exercise, straining occurs. This is especially true with the exercises that involve physical contraction of something. For example, Khechari Mudra, tongue lock, Uddiyana Bandha, which we don't cover in this course. But there's many other things that involve actual physical locks, movements, and engagements of the muscles. In these exercises, it's very easy for the sincere and dedicated, well-intentioned student to strain because we are learning something new. And whenever we learn something new, there's an effort involved, and this effort can easily turn into what we call strain. So on this physical level, the meaning of do not strain is quite obvious. So I would instruct you that in these cases, let's take the example of Khechari Mudra, which is covered in the Vishuddhi section, the throat chakra section. It's the tongue lock. So do not strain simply means to relax. Do it, do the exercise, but don't try too hard. Just let the mudra evolve naturally. It's normal to feel some muscular engagement and tension, especially when you start out. People don't usually use their tongue muscle in that way. But straining, it's a concept that is half physical and half metaphysical. Strain is physical and it's mental. It means physical strain and mental strain. So when we do something new like Khechari Mudra with the tongue, it's okay to feel some muscular tension, but ensure that the mental tension isn't there. Remember that you are doing this to wake up your chakras, to enliven your nervous system. Trust the process, as they say in America. Try to allow it to flow naturally. Now, there's another level of strain, which is mental strain. This is something that's a bit more subtle. Let's take the example of Anulom Vilom Pranayam with Pranashuddhi that we cover in the Ajna section, the third eye section. Now, in this case, we're actually not doing anything physical. We are performing a pranayama purely with mental visualization and intuition of airflows. So there is no potential of muscular strain in this exercise, and yet strain very much can occur with this exercise. How? Mental strain. The mental effort of the counting, the mental effort of focusing on the airflows, right? So to a certain extent, strain and effort are two sides of the same coin. But what we want to do is keep it on the effort side of the coin and not the strain side of the coin. What's the difference? The difference is intention, or rather lack thereof. It is normal and required to put in effort to learn something. But when we put in effort to learn something, we have the intention and we have the knowledge and we have the confidence that we are doing something good for ourselves. We are trusting our ability to learn. We're trusting that we have the time and that over time this is going to get easier. When we strain, it's sort of the negative connotation of that. It's the, oh my God, this is hard. Oh my God, if I can just push through, let me do. You see, the action is the same, but the intention and the mentality behind the action is different. Why is this important? I'm speaking from experience. The 3 words "do not strain" have taken me years to understand, and in fact, I'm still understanding them. Every morning when I practice my kriyas, I find new ways that I'm holding tension and strain in the body or in the mind, which are really the same thing. And every morning I find new ways to release. So this is a multi-year process. And why is it important? Because particularly for the practices of meditation, pranayama, and consciousness expansion, here's where it gets really funny, ironic, weird in a sense. It's that it's the strain itself that prevents us from going to the next stage. So what I found from personal experience is that when I release the part of the ego that's responsible for either the mental or the physical strain, that is actually when I'm able to go to the next step, go deeper than I've ever gone before. It's when I release the need to try, or it's when I change the intention from I have to do this right to trust the process and just flow. It's a very subtle mental shift. So this may seem all quite abstract, especially if you're starting out. So my advice to you is this, and had somebody given me this advice years ago, I probably would have shaved off a lot of time from my own progress. But it is what it is, and I'm thankful that I had to learn the hard way, because now when I say do not strain, I really know the importance of the 3 words do not strain, relax, flow. So here's my practical advice to you on how you can implement these very profound 3 words, do not strain. If you're just beginning, it's easy. You're going to find yourself experiencing all manners of mental and physical discomfort as you practice these meditations and these pranayamas. It's going to bring a lot of things up. Pain is a blessing in disguise because pain is obvious. If you feel pain in your back while you're sitting, realize that a lot of this pain is psychosomatic. Instruct that part of your body to relax. Instruct your mind to relax it. Practice that. You feel physical pain, release it. Of course, this is all assuming that you're already sitting comfortably, okay? So you obviously want to set yourself up for the maximum amount of comfort. Sit on a bolster, block. Don't feel the ego necessity to sit in a certain way in lotus and what have you. Sit on a chair if you have to at first, if you don't have the hip flexibility. Okay, so make sure you're physically set up for success. The physical pain I'm referring to with straining here is that you have already found your comfortable seating position and you're comfortable, but as you do the exercises, you start to become uncomfortable. Realize that a lot of this is psychosomatic, and you're able to release this pain and this strain consciously by instructing your body, in that part of your body, to relax. That's why pain is a blessing in disguise. It's because it's obvious. When you're in pain, when a part of your body is in pain, it's quite obvious. Never accept pain. Pain is your body talking to you. The only question is, are you listening? So listen to your body. Pain is your body communicating with you. When you feel the pain, address it mentally, release it. That's the easy part. Physical pain, release it. One layer deeper, where you have to be more in tune with yourself, is mental strain. If you find yourself straining or overexerting yourself to perform an exercise, realize that there's a difference between strain and effort. The difference is intentionality. Transform your strain into effort by trusting the process. Trusting that you do not need to get it perfect. Just follow the instructions. Allow your nervous system to do what it's naturally going to do. Remember, this doesn't only apply to meditation. Literally any new activity that we learn, be it riding a bike or driving a car, is hard at first. You ever notice when you learn to drive a car, there was 1,000 things you had to think about at first, but then when you learned it, it's all like on autopilot. That's the way our nervous system works. It takes us about 21 days to form new neural pathways. When these pathways are formed, everything becomes easier to do that specific task that the neural pathways formed for. Once I heard a great analogy to ski tracks on a ski hill. Those first few people who ski down freshly coated ski, snow hill, it's hard. They have to form their own paths. But once those ski paths are formed, everybody skis down the same path, and it's easy. That's the same way that our brain works. So trust the process, trust your nervous system, transform that mental strain into mental effort by transforming your intention from one of scarcity, of, oh my God, this is hard, I gotta push through and do this, to trust. Trusting yourself, the process, and the nature of your nervous system. This is easier said than done. Because unlike physical pain, often mental strain is not so obvious. So just practice catching yourself and practice releasing. When you catch strain, when you detect strain, either physical or mental, release it. Consciously release it. This has to be a conscious, active process. And then after a while, it will happen automatically. So we have the mental strain and we have the physical strain. And we have one thing to focus on to alleviate both of these strains, and that is the conscious release of it. Scan your body, scan your mind for pain and for tension, and simply drop it. Drop it. Just let it fall. And it might come back, but then drop it again. Over time, you will find less and less pain and strain in your practice. As you train your mind to consciously and then subsequently unconsciously release the pain and the strain. So this is what is meant by do not strain. Do not strain the body. Do not strain the mind. The effort of learning will naturally transition into effortlessness as the nervous system adapts to the new exercise, creates new ski paths down the hill where you can slide into bliss, just like driving a car, riding a bike, or even walking down the street. There was a time when you were a baby where walking was extremely hard, and now you don't need to think about it. Everything works this way. Everything. The only difference with what you're learning right now is that the practices of pranayama and kriya that you're learning to enliven your chakra system is a new task, like walking, like driving a car, but of course orders of magnitude more rewarding. But it's a new task, so expect there to be an effort, but never allow it to go to strain. Always find new things to release, new things to surrender. Scan yourself constantly, constantly. Sometimes the pain and the tension is so subtle because we've been experiencing it in this way for so long that the body and the mind have tricked you into feeling that it's normal. This is just a process of getting to know oneself. And the deeper we go into ourselves is the more honestly and with loving scrutiny we can look at the parts of ourselves that are still holding on to something which can be released. Keep these words and keep these tips in mind as you practice all of the exercises in this course. The 3 words, do not strain, is likely the most important advice that was ever imparted to me. It's easier said than done. It can be a multi-year process. Every time I release this subtle pain and tension, I go deeper and deeper into the practice. And the practice becomes easier and more effortless and more blissful, more enlightening. And that, of course, is exactly what we're going for here. So, do not strain, put in effort, but don't take yourself too seriously. Trust yourself, trust your nervous system, and have fun.